This article is from Screen Rant. Every single Batman story has been told. DC admits Bruce Wayne is now boring, but there's a plan to fix him. Well, personally, I disagree. I don't think that the character of Bruce Wayne/Batman needs to be fixed. The article goes on, while DC fans will always love Batman, there's no denying that some Dark Knight fatigue has set in, as many have grown tired of the Caped Crusader due to the overwhelming flood of Bruce Wayne-centric comics, shows, and movies. Still, most DC fans remain excited for James Gunn's upcoming Batman movie, and while DC admits that Bruce Wayne has become somewhat boring, they have a plan to fix it. Well, there's certainly been a lot of Batman movies over the past few decades, that's for sure. But I personally think that the real fatigue is superhero fatigue in general and less about Batman being overrepresented. It says James Gunn recently sat down with Rolling Stone to discuss everything Superman and Supergirl, while also revealing his plans for Wonder Woman and Batman in the DCU. When asked what it will take to make these two iconic properties work, especially since both projects have been moving slowly, Gunn didn't hold back. When discussing his plans for Wonder Woman and Batman, Gunn noted that approaching Wonder Woman will be easier for him because, unlike Batman, there haven't been so many infinite portrayals. He elaborated further, explaining that every single Batman story has been told, pointing to the comics as the main contributor. In his words, it seems like half the comics that have come out of DC over the past 30 years have Batman in them. This suggests that the comics may be partially to blame for the slow progress of the Batman DCU movie, as they have already explored so many aspects of the Dark Knight's story. As a result, this presents a challenge for Gunn, whose goal is to introduce a fresh and meaningful version of Batman into the DCU. See, this concerns me, a James Gunn Batman movie. I don't really like the idea of that because I don't like James Gunn's particular style of superhero storytelling. Because James Gunn has a very specific way of making superhero movies, which is that they all end up looking and feeling a lot like Guardians of the Galaxy films. And they all have an MCU-ish feel with cheap humor, cheap jokes that undercut very serious, dramatic, and tense moments. And so everything just kind of feels a bit ironic and nothing can be taken seriously. And I have a feeling that James Gunn's interpretation of Batman will probably follow a similar trend. In my opinion, his Batman movie will be as unsatisfying for me as his Superman movie was. So I suspect there will be lots of unnecessary Marvel-like humor thrown in. Now, I wasn't a big fan of the Matt Reeves, James Patterson Batman movie, which is The Batman from 2022, but I do understand why it was so critically acclaimed. Audiences generally really liked it. I can appreciate why the film was so liked. It's very well directed, and the dark noirish tone and the grittiness of the film is extremely well done. So I can appreciate the film without loving it personally. I suspect Gunn's Batman movie will be nothing like this film, and it'll probably be nothing like the Batfleck DCEU Batman, nothing like Christopher Nolan's Batman. I think James Gunn's Batman movie will feel like Guardians of the Batcave. Taking a look at the trailer to Supergirl, it's very Guardians looking as well. So basically what he did with Superman, I suspect is going to continue with Supergirl. And, just looking again at that Supergirl trailer, the set design, the lighting, the costuming, and the direction, it just feels like Guardians, right? I talked about the trailer before and how it feels like Guardians 3. And I really didn't like that Krypto was urinating on a picture of Superman, as if Superman hadn't been devalued enough and walked on enough in his own movie. I mean, he was a damsel on multiple occasions. And in the Supergirl trailer, she has a line about Superman, how he sees the good in everyone. and I see the truth. And it's so unnecessary because it's another dig. It's another dig at Superman. It's another insult. In other words, the insinuation is Superman is naive. In other words, it's this superiority complex. She's smarter and better than Superman because he's a foolish optimist. That's the message there. But anyway, yes, there's probably been too many Batman movies made over the past few years. I mean, let's have something original for a change. Do we have to have the same superheroes over and over again? And there's been an enormous amount of different interpretations of Batman in comic books. But the same could be said of superhero films in general. The genre is so oversaturated at this point. And still, despite however many superhero movies there's been made by DC and Marvel over the past 20 years, Batman is still the most interesting, probably. But at the same time, James Gunn doesn't seem to be able to make a superhero movie that doesn't feel a lot like a Guardians movie. And I would not be surprised in the least if his Batman movie ends up being another Guardians Light type film. Now, I don't think that Batman is boring, but what I do find tiresome is superhero films that keep feeling like Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, so I have a feeling his Batman movie is going to be the Dark Knight Guardian of the Batcave. But there you go. Those are my thoughts on this one, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you think that Batman has become boring? Over the course of my lifetime, there's been numerous reboots and reimaginings of the character. We had, of course, the Tim Burton Batman movies. We had the Joel Schumacher Batman movies, the Christopher Nolan Batman movies, and then his appearance in the DCEU films, and most recently, the Matt Reeves The Batman movie from 2022. So lots of different takes on the character of Bruce Wayne and Batman. Do we need another one? Do we need yet another reboot of Batman? Considering there's going to be a sequel to Matt Reeves' James Patterson Batman movie coming soon, I think it's just going to make DC and Batman in film rather confusing for audiences, because that will mean that there will be two different cinematic interpretations of the character and the Batman universe around the same time. I don't know what the thinking is there. But guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Dave Cullen Show channel. Remember to hit the notification bell to be notified of future updates. Please hit that like button. Take care, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.